Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of First and Last. My name is Josh, and with me this week we've got soon-to-be drunk Joe, apparently.
Hey, man.
Soon to be.
Well, we'll get into it in a second. And also Jimmy.
What's up?
Hey, man.
Pasta pals.
No, just literally right before we started recording, Joe was like, I'm going to need another sandwich.
Yeah.
And then instead of ordering one, he's just going to keep drinking. We got this is an intervention, Joe.
Yeah, oh no.
Intervention.
We're going to do it recorded?
Yeah, the world needs to know.
Oh, man.
This is one of those interventions.
No, it's just we usually record on a weeknight, on a school night, but this time we're recording on a weekend. So if the vibe in the room on the podcast feels different to you, just know
That's why.
a little loose.
We're letting loose. On
the freaking weekend.
On the third part, when we're reviewing the finale, we'll be like, "Oh, that was pretty good, right? Yeah,
Best ever.
But no, probably not. I have a little game.
All right.
Oh.
I was thinking about. I'm gonna propose. I can't say the word.
Propose is
That's it. That's how you say it.
accent on the pro.
Yeah, pro. But I'm gonna say like a show idea,
Mm-hmm.
and then you guys. Well, I'll help too because I haven't really thought about it.
Is this Pie World?
This is
Trying to flesh that out?
No, yeah, we're gonna flesh out Pie World. I'm gonna propose a show idea, and then we're gonna see if we can think about how the pilot or how the show what the show would be like. And my show idea is a WWE sci-fi show.
Okay, I guess I have like one question up front. Is it a sci-fi show, like casted with wrestlers, or is it a sci-fi show that has to do with wrestling?
What? Yeah, Joe. What is it? I would say the people in it. It would be John Cena,
Mm-hmm.
but as like John Cena the wrestler,
Mm-hmm.
the Undertaker, not Mark or whatever that guy's name is.
Mhm.
Playing a different role. Like he would be playing Undertaker.
Okay.
That's great. I'm envisioning like a Planet Hulk thing or whatever, where it's just like a futuristic planet where the wrestling is just a lot higher stakes.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, so
You know what
like
I'm talking about?
they
Is it
wrestle.
Thor,
They wrestle for the-
Ragnarok,
Yeah, they're kind of like gladiators.
Yeah,
or Mojo if you're an X-Man fan.
like the Coliseum type scenario.
Yeah.
where the wrestlers have to
The
fight in the Coliseum.
and more weapons and death.
Like the Thunderdome portion
And
of the Mad Max.
superpowers. Ooh, I like that. I like Thunderdome.
That's pretty good. I was kind of thinking. I thought about this question like the other day and forgot about it. And then I just remembered it literally as we like hit record. I was like, that'd be fun to pretend to make up a show. I was thinking that the Earth is ending.
Mm-hmm.
It's over, and for some reason they're like doing a taping of like Friday Night SmackDown or something like that.
Okay.
And then all the nukes hit, and blow up, and then all the wrestlers that are in the arena run into a rocket ship,
Mm-hmm.
and because they're in Florida, so they're by
They got ships there.
there's rocket ships there.
Mhm.
And then they shoot into space,
Mhm.
and then it's like almost like a Swiss Family Robinson or something of, or
Lost in
Lost
Space.
in
Or Lost in
Space,
Space.
Mhm.
with
of,
wrestlers.
of wrestlers running around, but they all have like it'd be like the Undertaker,
Mhm.
Stone Cold, Roman Reigns from
Mhm.
today's, those
known
people.
quantities.
But yeah, people that everyone know, but like I don't know,
So
when they
they
pass
just
through the
orbit?
Earth's ozone or something like that, like what their characters are, like kind of overtake, like they're not actors anymore playing those roles. Like the Undertaker literally is like
An
the
undead
master of the
zombie.
necromancy.
Yeah.
Ooh. Okay. Well, that's okay.
John Cena like literally can turn invisible.
Yeah, he's Hollow Man now.
Yes. You can't see him.
I always hated that. about John Cena.
You hated that.
It drives me crazy.
Is it because you've never seen him?
It's because I just get. Where does he go?
Right.
I get so frustrated.
Him and people that wear camouflage. I hate them.
So at this point in the story, do they just start orbiting, and then in 100 years they come down, and it's just the CW the 100 show?
No, I think
wrestlers.
I think it's a Planet of the Week type show instead of a Monster of the Week, where they're like,
Star Trek,
discovering
Alpha Centauri, and then they go, and then I don't know, somehow like, I think in Transformers Beast Wars, there's like pods of Transformers floating around the Earth, and they slowly throughout the seasons they fall down to Earth so they can get more characters.
Yeah.
So
Classic.
maybe potentially that they go to a different, planet.
Like that. I don't know Star Trek well enough, but like I like the dynamic of like John Cena being your like Captain Kirk.
He's definitely the captain, right?
Who's like
yeah.
Who's like coming to this planet trying to learn more about it. And I don't know what the Star Trek equivalent would be, but I imagine Stone Cold going in there and just like tearing shit up and like not really being into what this planet is about.
I mean, he's like the hot-headed security officer, maybe.
Yeah, like a Raphael or something, or just like
He's Raph.
just kind of a rebel. But like in the end, he'll kind of appreciate the planet for what it is.
Mm-hmm. I could see fan service being amazing in this show, where like two members of the crew, like every couple episodes, maybe once an episode or something, two members of the crew, if they have an issue with themselves, then they're like, well, fine, let's solve it in the ring, and then they have an actual wrestling match, like, but it's a very cinematic, fun, because it's it's not going to be live wrestling, but it's going to be like a wrestling match, and be like, well, Captain John Cena beat Beth Phoenix in the ring. So therefore, what he wanted to happen was done, and that's how they solve their differences of the crew, and that's how the hierarchy is built potentially.
Yeah, you gotta have like one match a week.
The first season could literally just be a tournament in order to find out who the rankings of the crew.
Who the captain is.
Ooh, I'm into that too.
Yeah.
Who's the Sulu? Who's Scotty?
The tournament will tell, right?
I'd watch this.
So that's my idea for the WWE show.
Cool.
WWE in space.
I feel like to make this work, you have to have at least one dead wrestler who's gonna appear in hologram form. Like just have Macho Man and Randy Savage.
Oh, okay.
Where they just use old footage and just show it in hologram form.
But in reality,
that would be very Star Trek.
Yeah, but it's just you sold the ad space to Slim Jim, and so hologram Randy Savage is still just snapping into it.
They're trying to figure out how to like start the ship again, and then Randy Savage just comes in and be like, "Oh yeah, snap into a Slim Jim." And they're like,
"Have you tried to put a Slim Jim in there?"
And they're just like, "Noted, Savage 5000, noted."
Robot Macho. Oh man, that's great.
Yeah.
There actually is in the original Star Trek series, the pilot captain was not Captain Kirk, and they obviously once they picked it up, they changed the cast, but they worked in that first episode into a bunch of other episodes where they just played some of that footage as if they had recorded somehow from the ship, things that
cameras
happened
on a starship.
Oh, yeah, whatever. But they were on a planet.
Oh yeah, that's weirder.
But they kept working in that first captain. I don't even know his name. I don't remember. We'll have to do it.
Forget Captain Cena.
Captain John Cena. I hate how much he would love that.
He'd be so good at it.
Just blast his ego, Captain John.
As long as he stopped apologizing to China, he'd be great at it.
Is that a thing you know?
For better or worse, he might be president someday. Let's all just accept this, that John Cena, it's going to happen.
President John Cena.
Get ready. You heard it here first.
Come on, we dare you, invade America. You can't even see our president. Man, what if he really went into it and then he just made speeches, but he made it over an intercom with a podium with no one standing there, and he was talking as
just the voice booming.
Yeah. It'd be great. All right. Well, that's hopefully first of many of let's make a TV show out of this stupid idea. That was mine. Joe, you're up next week.
Hey, I mean, that show is at least as good as like 50 of the shows that we've watched over this podcast.
It's definitely better than The Ranch.
50? Probably way more than 50.
Probably more than 50.
It's probably been 50 good shows that we've watched.
Oh, that's sad. We're on 228 right now.
We gotta pick better shows.
Huh.
Yeah,
Hopefully this is the one.
hopefully you picked a good show, Jimmy. But before you tell us what show you picked,
All right.
Joe, what is first and last?
It's a TV pod where we watch only the first and last episode. And the way that we go about it is we watch the first episode, take it in, breathe it in, make some predictions for the last episode and where we think the show is going to go, and then watch that finale and then reflect on what we've experienced together. It's a real, kind of Spark Notes experience for those of us who didn't like to do work in high school. You know what I mean?
I did work.
It's like Spark Notes, but just for the first and last chapter.
Yeah, it's not even a summary of each chapter. It's just the first and last.
It's the worst if you bought that Spark Notes.
This will not help you
You'd be
write your
like,
report.
Damn it. Yeah, it'd be terrible. Okay. Jimmy, it's your show this week.
Oh, yes it is. So we're going to go back a little bit. Go back in time. Not actually in time.
Is that a hint?
Well, I guess I don't know because I've not seen a single episode of this show ever. It is Knight Rider, starring David Hasselhoff, and it went from 82 to 86, just 4 seasons, which kind of surprises me. 86 episodes, and I do believe there's a movie.
Like with David Hasselhoff?
Like with David Hasselhoff.
Whoa.
But that's not what we're doing.
We don't do movies.
It's amazing to me that we have not done this show.
Apparently there was a reboot or like a reimagining.
Yeah, I remember that in like the
In 08?
mid to late 2000s they tried to do Knight Rider again.
Just 1 season. Also not what we're doing.
82 to
on
86, huh? I mean, are we all familiar with Knight Rider? At least, tangentially?
It's the Hoff and a talking car, right? I mean, that's...
Yeah.
They solve crimes, probably.
It's a car named Kip.
Kit?
Kit. Yeah.
Kit. It's close. P's are close to T's.
Kip.
How did... Okay,
You're
I mean,
up, Kip.
you would assume this first episode is going to explain how he comes into possession of said car?
Yeah, I assume that he somehow wanders into becoming some sort of spy.
Mm-hmm.
And he's...
Like he's the world's best race car driver
and
or
some
something.
sort of... Yeah. But, well...
He's like Tom Cruise in Days of
I would
Thunder.
like that, but I don't think it needs to be because the car, I think, is some sort of sentient being.
He doesn't
So he doesn't actually need to drive it at all.
So this is
I
just
bet he totally does.
This
though.
is just a Tesla that talks, potentially.
Well, it's the 80s, so it's some sort of muscle car. Pontiac.
Mm-hmm.
Who's to say? We'll find out. But, yeah, and I assume there's some sort of like Q branch type scenario.
It's a Pontiac Firebird Trans Am.
It is a Firebird,
Yep.
okay. And they suit him up with this car. Otherwise, it's like a Herbie the Love Bug situation where he buys this car and it's like, hey, you're with me now, Hasselhoff. We're going on adventures.
I do not get that reference. What is a Herbie the
Really?
Love Bug situation?
Really? You've
I
never
know-
seen Love Bug?
No.
Or any of the 1 million?
I feel like I've seen the poster for like Herbie Fully Loaded with
Yeah,
Lindsay
with
Lohan.
Lindsay Lohan. Heck yeah.
I mean, that's like one
It's
of
just
our
a sentient-
thumbnails for first and last season.
It's a sentient, like, racing. I don't know who races in a Volkswagen Bug, but it was like a race car,
Okay,
Right.
but it's alive.
and it's alive.
Okay, so
It does not talk, though.
walk
my
with me
knowledge.
here for a second because I got an idea. When did RoboCop come out? Original RoboCop, 85.
I think after 82.
It might have been 85.
It's a good year.
But what if the car is just a RoboCop? It's like a dead guy whose mind was put
Is trapped
into
in
a
his
car. And then David Hasselhoff drives it.
Drives it.
The original RoboCop was 87.
So this was that was after Knight Rider was over.
After it was even over.
Yeah.
So this was a prequel.
RoboCop. It's a prequel to RoboCop. I'm gonna go with some billionaire man. His like son or best friend died, and he put the brain of that person into a car named Kit, and then for some happenstance reason, there was a man or somebody who was going to own the car and drive it, but then probably ex-cop David Hasselhoff burned rubber into this guy's like millionaire mansion house or whatever, and was like, you helped me solve this crime. You know what helped you? This RoboCop car I called Kit. His real name in real life was Kit. It was my son.
And then Hasselhoff's like, that was my old partner who died when I was a cop, and I quit the force because I let my partner down.
Wow.
Full circle.
A lot of lore here.
Yeah. So that's
It's all very plausible.
So
though.
basically, I'm gonna go. My thought is, Knight Rider's just RoboCop, but
Okay.
a car.
I think my prediction is that Kit and the Hoff run someone over, killing them, and they just sort of
They're
ignore
on
it.
the lam.
No, it gets ignored. Like it's just like that's just what happens when you solve crimes. Like some people get run over.
Yeah, sure.
Some people are gonna get run over.
Yeah, it's not even like the main criminal gets run over. It's like just some like baddie thug,
Like
gets
a lady.
run over.
Oh, I was gonna say like a lady carrying her groceries home on the sidewalk or something.
No,
like that.
just like they're like chasing down a mob boss, and like some like lackey gets run over, and we never see them again, but we know they're dead.
Oh my god. That's so dark.
Dead or gone.
And Hasselhoff's just like, look, like the car's sentient. I wasn't driving. You gonna
Yeah.
charge the
No
car
one was
with
driving, really.
vehicular manslaughter? I guess that's the most appropriate charge that you could.
Yeah, charge the car, cop.
Vehicular manslaughter.
Arrest. Come on, put a boot on it. Arrest the car. All right, so we got. What do you think, Jimmy?
Yeah, both of those things sound good. I don't know. Yeah, I like that he's. I mean, it's definitely they're like fighting some sort of crime, right?
Mm-hmm.
What that is, I don't know.
It's the Russians.
It probably has something to do with the Russians.
Also, we also it's Knight Knight.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So is he?
So is this a King Arthur thing?
I hope so.
And the Knights of
Is
the
he
Round
Arthur?
Wheels Round Table.
That's right. That is right.
Wow.
You nailed it.
I'm sorry I
Really?
intervened, but I was looking up what the
We're-
first episode was called. So.
It's some sort of King Arthur RoboCop amalgamation. Amalgamation. There we go.
Propose.
Let's watch it.
Should we
So
just?
this was first one's a two-parter.
Yeah. So the first
Yeah.
episode's a two-parter that debuted, originally aired on September 26, 1982. It's called Knight KN.
Mm-hmm.
GHT of the Phoenix. Some guy named like
Parts 1 and
Kit
2.
Knight is gonna get murdered and then rise again as RoboCop in a car. I'm telling you, this is
Kit Knight.
Kit Knight.
Well, is his name something Knight?
Hasselhoff?
Hassels?
I don't know.
Michael Knight is
yeah.
his name.
Michael Knight.
What if there's like, what if it's someone? What if he doesn't know the identity of Kit, but it turns out to be like his dad or something? They find out in season 5.
Like it's just like a ghost. It's just a haunted vehicle.
I like that if they find out in season 5 because there's only 4 seasons.
It's yet to be revealed.
Yeah, we're still waiting. Who is Kit? I mean, Kit's KITT. It's got to stand for like.
Yeah. It's definitely not a it's definitely like AI of some kind in my mind. This is like just what's that, like Short Circuit robot? Have you ever seen those movies?
Johnny Five.
Johnny Five. This is just Johnny Five the car.
Driven by
It's a
Michael
robot.
Knight, aka David Hasselhoff.
Mike Knight.
Yeah.
All right. Well, okay. Let's watch the first episode. It's called Night of the Phoenix, and we'll be back after that. We're back from the first episodes of Knight Rider. It was called Night of the Phoenix, right? Yeah, Night of the Phoenix. Jim.
Rise of the Phoenix. What was the
Rise of the
X-Men?
Michael Knight, Jean Grey Phoenix.
Jean Grey. Joe, you drunk?
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. Drunk check, Joe. We good?
It's Friday, baby.
Hey. No, it's Wednesday.
Oh
It's
no.
Wednesday morning.
It's Wednesday morning. It's 10 a.m., Joe.
Okay, part 1. A detective believed to have been killed is given a new face and identity and is armed with an artificially intelligent supercar. That's part 1. Part 2. So much more happens than that. Part 2 is that Michael Knight seeks justice and revenge as he goes after the clever industrial saboteurs who murdered his partner. So, okay. So part 1, the detective is Michael Long, and he's on a mission, whatever, to protect this woman Tanya.
Is that... Yeah, I was trying to figure out. There were so many... I feel like there's so many double agents.
A lot going on. Yeah, a lot of crossing, double crossing. So he's like an agent who's protecting her, so he thinks, and this guy, and they're playing craps in Las Vegas. But then there's also someone else, like some other agents there, like following them around and and they're taking pictures of, I don't even know what,
Microchips and shit.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Silicon Valley stuff.
Pictures of microchips so they can rebuild the pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, a bunch of crossing happens. Tanya's turns out to be bad. They killed his partner, like it said, and then she shot him right in the face.
Just right in the face.
Like in the forehead. Like usually when someone gets shot in the head, they don't like reach for the place they got shot. It's usually just like they're dead. But he like reached up to his head as if like he just got hit in the head with like a rock or something.
Well,
Yeah.
in
Someone threw a pebble at him and he's like, "Ow, my forehead."
he fell
Yeah.
onto the ground.
I mean, yeah, he passed out, but I mean, like, you typically don't reach for your head when you get shot.
Yeah,
in the head.
you don't really have that much time. You're dead already.
Yeah,
I mean, how many times have you been shot in the head?
I mean 0, but like,
He's
I can
seen
imagine.
other movies before. But well, I mean, the thing about that is, Joe, is we find out later on in this episode
Mm-hmm.
that he had a metal plate in his head,
Mhm.
possibly from a military doctor. Is what they
Yeah.
said.
A military doctor.
His time in Nam.
And so the bullet hit him in the forehead and then immediately exited back out his face,
Mm-hmm.
essentially exploding his face off from the inside.
Yeah, so he's fine brain wise,
Yeah.
but
now
his
he looks like
face-
John Travolta
he looks like John Travolta.
or Nick Cage. One of the two.
Just doing a face-off joke is what he's doing right now.
Mm.
Have you seen that movie?
His face is off.
His face was definitely off.
So they just had to like rehabilitate him and rebuild his face.
Mm-hmm.
And it turned out that when they were done, he ended up looking like David Hasselhoff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because for the
decent
first
job.
like 15 minutes of this episode, like the main guy Michael is a guy who kind of looks like David Hasselhoff, but like isn't him.
I swear he's
Right.
taller than David Hasselhoff.
He's like
He might have been.
taller and like
Although
skinnier.
Hasselhoff's a tall dude, though.
Yeah.
Maybe it was just like the...
He was towering over some other people in this.
To
that
be
were supposed
honest,
to be-
like watching the first part of this, I was like, Man, David Hasselhoff looked a lot different when he was younger.
Yeah.
Because
You
I thought that
might
was
have been him. Yeah.
I was like, man, he looks
Yeah.
a lot more boyish than I had pictured. And
Yeah,
then
that's
when
true.
they did the transition to like, oh, we blew off your face and now you got plastic surgery and now you're this guy, and it was David Hasselhoff, I was like, oh, it was a different actor.
Right.
And so by they, it's some really, really rich guy who, for some reason, I'm still not really sure what his tie-in was. All this Mr. Knight rich guy
Mm-hmm.
who apparently paid for Michael Long to have his face reconstructed so that he could, get revenge on these people.
It kind of seemed like there was some more backstory there that they were intentionally like not giving all of yet, that it like might be explored later.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's this super rich, did they say his first name?
It's like Wilton.
Wilton, I
Wilton
think.
Knight, that has this giant mansion and he's got inventions, and it's something he was saying some things about like trying to do right or something.
Yeah, he seemed like he was some
He's
sort
probably
of
like
fighter
a
of
Nazi or
crime.
something.
Yeah, right. Former Nazi scientist,
Very
like just
possibly.
Trying to now be right with the way the world works now. Do good, because I've done terrible evil.
Very nice, very evil.
So him and his buddy Devin Miles are now helping out Michael, David Hasselhoff, and then and Wilton Knight is trying to say that, like, because he's like, we can't get these guys, like, it's too big, it's like a criminal organization, we can't touch these guys. And
Yeah.
Wilton Knight is
Michael's saying that. Yeah.
is like the power of the individual, which seems to be the moral of this whole series, is just that one person can make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
If you have an outrageous car that's impossible,
If you have RoboCop the car.
Yeah.
yeah, impenetrable, it's better than RoboCop because you can kill
drill. You can
RoboCop.
drill into RoboCop with a diamond tipped drill.
Yeah,
You could do that.
You could.
And you cannot drill into this car with a diamond tipped drill.
No. And it can drive itself.
So what is this car made out of?
That's right. Baby
not
skin.
sure. Baby skin.
It sounded like he was trying to explain. Devin at some point was trying to explain. To
He
you.
said something about
It's
how
not
the
metal.
paint was like bonded onto something, and it's not fiberglass and it's not metal,
It's smooth as baby skin.
but it's smooth like a baby.
It is babies.
It's made from baby skin,
Baby
the
skin.
toughest
and
material on earth,
Have you ever tried to pierce a baby? Impossible.
I guess.
Oh God! Don't try to pierce babies. What else?
Okay. Well, so I mean, we can glaze past this kind of part, but the old man Wilton dies. Whatever.
Right.
But they, Michael Long / Michael Knight,
Mhm.
David Hasselhoff, he keeps like asking for his car back. So they must have took his car
Mm-hmm.
and then inserted this artificial intelligence into it,
Mm-hmm.
made it impenetrable and like perfect or whatever. So then he takes the car back to where this town to try to get back. I don't really even know what he was trying to do, because at the very end of the show, the lady who shot him, her name is Tanya.
Mm-hmm.
He like tried to be like, don't do it, and like she ended up killing herself because she shot the car.
You mean
this
like
is
at the very end?
the very end?
Yeah.
So like, was he trying to expose them? He obviously wasn't trying to get like straight revenge on her and just like kill her or anything. He was just trying to like
Maybe
they were doing
arrest her. He was a cop.
They were doing something vaguely illegal, but I honestly am not 100% sure exactly what the
Yeah. Some
things
sort of fraud.
were.
They were trying to. They had all these secrets they were gonna go sell because so Devin tells Michael Knight Hasselhoff that they're off now in Silicon Valley, which, by the way, did not know that Silicon Valley was a huge thing in 1982.
Yeah.
That's news to me
Mm-hmm.
Ask Bill Gates, man.
because they were already doing microchips, but not like for like calculators, she said. And Yeah.
TI-89.
Well, it seemed like this
Oh, man.
Tanya lady and this
TI-82.
other dude that she was with. It legitimately seems like they got hired at the company Comtron and then just rose the ranks and now are like high ups in it and now are like stealing stuff from the inside. But it's like at this point you just have access to it. It almost seemed like it was like their job to have all these secrets at this point.
Yeah.
And they were trying to get rid of it. But then when Michael gets into town, he meets this waitress named Maggie, who he then like gets information from, but also hangs out with.
Little will they, won't they?
Yeah, there's definitely that. And he hangs out with her and her kid Buddy, and they go to a race. And this is the beginning of the second part.
Mm-hmm.
And Buddy is Bastion from Never Ending Story. He'll betray you.
Important. And so I don't know, to get closer to the situation, Michael and Kit, the car, enter into this like figure 8 demolition race, and the winner gets $5,000. Blah blah blah. So I don't know. It's just his way to like probably talk to him, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But he starts to race, and he gets Maggie and her kid Buddy tickets to go like watch the race. And Maggie just like sits down and she's like, I gotta go find my kid. And then she just sits down and the race starts. And she seems like she's just like ready to watch the race. And she has no idea where her kid is.
Yeah, just like, I'll find him later.
I'll find him. We'll wait till the race is over. And it turns out that Buddy is in the car.
Mm-hmm.
And so he does the entire race with Buddy in the front seat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the whole time before the race, everyone's like, well, good luck, because there's not going to be anything left of your car. Like he's just going to be murdered in this race. And the little boy is just in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, she seemed there was no concern whatsoever of where her kid was
It's
at
a
any
different
point.
time. Early 80s. This is pre-Jacob Wetterling. Kids don't go missing yet.
Oh, God.
Too
It was
too
only
much.
a couple of years before Jacob.
Yeah.
It was like 2 years.
Still.
In talking about the race, it's maybe a good point to touch on like what the car,
What Kit's capable of?
yeah, what Kit's capable of. So like we talked about that it's indestructible because of the paint or whatever. But then beyond that, it is sentient and it can talk.
Right. Did you guys recognize the voice
No.
of Kit, by the way? As frickin' Feeny from Boy Meets World.
No, really? No.
Yeah.
I did not place that.
Yeah, I did not
William
at all.
Daniels is
I
that
don't-
guy's name.
I don't think I heard the voice at all and thought, I know that voice.
Oh, man.
That's crazy. I do
Yeah,
know that voice.
It was bothering me.
Huh.
You listen for it now. I
Yeah, I'll
assume it's the
listen for
same
it
person.
in the end.
Yeah, probably.
But yeah, it's sentient. It's got a voice. It can auto drive. I mean, obviously.
We find that out
Autopilot.
because he falls asleep in the first episode and it drives around.
Mm-hmm.
Because he refuses to like let the car drive itself.
Yeah.
Until he's passed out fully.
Which is an interesting thing. So you can sit behind and drive it and take the wheel, but then it can take it from you if it needs to.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or if it wants to. I don't know.
Because it'll avoid collisions or any sort of danger.
Okay, yeah.
So that's why in this race, where like, you know, the point is destruction, it's like completely avoiding crashing into stuff
Right.
because it's a computer.
By driving on two wheels.
Yeah,
And all kinds of things.
there's some interesting stunts in the race where it's like, yeah, up on two wheels to try to squeeze between a couple cars.
That race
Classic.
was funny in the terms of just the pure like them not doing a very good job at hiding a lot of production like assets.
Yeah, all the effects.
Like when it was on two wheels, the dude driving the car, his face was very clearly not David Hasselhoff in the car.
Which is amazing because that was just a real thing that someone was doing.
Yeah,
You know?
for sure.
They used to
Yeah.
actually do that.
Yeah. So that clearly wasn't him. Then a couple cars did like, you know, jumps and stuff. Like they hit things and crashed, but then it would show a shot and you could clearly see like the ramp where like one of the wheels would hit to flip the car and kind of stuff. Like I saw like one of those. It was just like, well, come on. Just don't use that shot. But whatever.
It's
I mean, yeah, but I mean,
it's not a Bond film.
I understand. It's still just like, you know, have some
Yeah,
love
I
for your
think you
craft.
just turned the camera in a direction that it would not see that. But
Right.
yeah.
You would assume they would have multiple cameras on like an expensive shot like that, so they would be able to use one that you couldn't see the ramp.
they were like, you can't really tell.
Yeah, you won't really notice.
It's happening so fast.
Just because it's old doesn't mean that they don't know how eyes work. You know, like, they understand like continuity of show.
Yeah. Well, you wouldn't be able to rewind it either. It's all happening
true.
live.
True, but that's why they probably had multiple cameras, like, you know. And
I mean, like, for like the viewers at home, like,
right.
they'd be like, "Did I see the ramp?" Whatever.
Yeah, well, we didn't rewind it, and I know I saw a ramp. So I think I started looking after it was clearly not David Hasselhoff. That's when I was like, wait, I'm going to pay attention.
Wait a second. I did not notice that. So yeah, so anyway, so this race was all like put on by this lady Tanya, who's trying to get revenge, or like by their company or whatever. And then all of the drivers are like waiting for him at Maggie's like bar where she works, because they're apparently just all goons that are hired by everyone in the town. Actually, everyone in Silicon Valley seems like they work for Tanya.
And Comtron.
In Comtron.
And so they're all waiting for Hasselhoff.
Sounds like a bad Transformer.
Comtron. And then it's a Decepticon. Comtron. And he, of course, beats them all up, even though most of them are like huge.
Oh, also, they never showed them fighting at all.
Yeah.
All it was a clips of them basically jumping through tables, you know, flying through tables, flying over a thing, getting thrown out of the bar. But it was only the guys flying through the air and never David Hasselhoff actually throwing, kicking, or punching.
Right.
Like, we never saw him do almost any action, did we? Just like, we just saw the aftermath of directly after like a punch or something would have been thrown.
Oh, and while it was happening, there's some two goons who we saw earlier eyeing the car, and they're stealing the car. They're stealing Kit, which is weird. If you're Kit, how are you gonna let a couple of goons steal you?
Yeah, like get in.
I mean,
come on.
The door was wide open, but I also would assume that Kit could shut its own door.
You would think, yeah.
So,
or just like not
100%
move when you.
or like literally
Not
just
start.
not do anything.
Yeah. So they
That was just comedy.
drove it away, and then Hasselhoff gets arrested for beating up people in a bar. And then one of the goons is in there, like, talking to him. Oh, yeah, he calls up Devin. Who Devin is like, I was trying to think of how to explain him.
Devin's like Charlie from Charlie's Angels.
Okay, yeah. I was going to say Alfred to Batman, but that makes more sense.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
Where was I?
He's in jail.
He's in the jail with the goon, with the guy from, that guy's from, well, he's in a lot of stuff. But he was in Rambo. And
yeah, I recognize him from things.
He's in a lot of things. And he was the voice of Hulk in the original TV show.
Like the Lou Ferrigno?
Lou Ferrigno, yeah.
Because
Lou Ferrigno, have you heard him talk? Maybe he's had some strokes or had some stuff. Because was he a boxer or something?
I don't know. I've heard him talk, though.
It's anyway,
he couldn't go grr
wasn't
or
his own. Apparently not. I don't know.
I don't know how much the original Hulk talked in Hulk mode.
And then the car, somehow Comtron gets a hold of the car. Oh, because they've like impounded it.
They own the town, so they just towed it to Comtron.
Right. But then the car, of course, breaks out at night, and then breaks him out of jail somehow.
Hey man, car smart.
This show's absolutely ridiculous.
What are you gonna do? Arrest the car?
But vehicular manslaughter.
Okay, yeah. So they do that. The car eventually breaks him out of jail, I guess, whatever, and then it drives him back to Comtron, where he sneaks in to try to like. I don't. He went to the place where Tanya was. Almost to maybe take her like files that she had or something. Seems like maybe that's what he was trying to do.
Thwart their plan.
Yeah. She ends up escaping. He also, Michael Knight, ends up like getting away from the guards that are trying to like kill him. And
not
then,
before getting shot.
He
gets
does
in
get
the
shot.
chest.
Yeah, because he gets shot, as far as we know,
He's
once
shot in
per
the chest
episode.
area.
Yeah.
So we've watched 2 episodes
Right.
so far. He's been
It's
shot.
2 for 2.
I really need to switch my prediction.
He's been shot and he's just kind of holding it. It's
Yeah.
fine. He's bleeding.
His hand is very near his heart.
Yeah.
And walking around.
So then he gets into the car to like try to chase them, but he refuses to let the car drive
Mm-hmm.
because he's awake. And then like Devin's on the phone at some point too, and like the car's like, "Hey Devin, can I just drive?" And Devin's like, "Oh, if he's awake and conscious, you can't take control from him." And he's like, "Okay, I guess that makes sense."
Because old man Wilton said one man can make a difference.
Yeah. And then so he drives through the trailer of a semi truck. He jumps over one semi truck, and then eventually there's like and then he drives through the wing of an airplane to stop it from taking
But
off.
wait,
Mhm.
yeah, but wait, before that, so he drives through the semi truck, and then one of the crooked, or no, he's not a crooked cop. He's just a
He's
lady
a
working with Tanya,
He's the Comtron guy.
Comtron guy. Okay, yeah, he gets a hold of another different trucker, and says, "Hey, 15,000 if you stop this guy."
Mm-hmm.
And the guy's like, "No, I'm not doing that." And then
Well,
he's
he
like,
says
25.
He says hit him straight on with your
Yeah.
semi. He says
"Yeah,
run
I'm gonna
straight
die.
into him.
How am I gonna spend this money if I'm dead?"
Yeah, he was literally like, "I'm not going to
25.
die."
Okay. It's just like, what? Man, 25 grand. What would I do? What would you do for 25 grand?
Would you attempt to murder someone?
Jimmy,
Right.
would you, if you
No
were in
I
a
guess if there's
semi
no
truck?
consequence because there's no police
I mean,
that are
there-
real in this.
There is a consequence. You're going to definitely murder someone, and
Yeah.
you may die too.
Yeah, well, that was the biggest thing. So that was his threshold for, okay, if I die, I die. But if I don't, I get 25 grand. That is not nearly enough. What's the inflation on that?
Yeah, I think he
82?
should have been like 25 G's plus medical bills.
Man, does he pay for this truck that I wreck?
Because I can't imagine insurance was better in the 80s than it is now. But maybe, well, I don't know.
So yeah. Anyway, then he stops the people from leaving in their plane, and then she tries to shoot him through the car window, and everyone's like, "No, don't, because you're gonna die." And then she dies.
And then the car drives him away, and he goes, the car's like, "I'll get you to a hospital now," because he like passes out because he presumably got shot in the heart.
Yeah, and then he's back on, and he's on a plane with Devin, and they're chatting about the future and where these crazy shenanigans are gonna take them.
Well, and that's when he mentions again, like, he's like, "Yeah, I think I will keep driving this car because one man can make a difference.
Yeah.
One man with a robot car
One man with a car that pretty much does everything.
can make a difference."
All you got to do is sit in this car and don't barf when it flies through a semi truck.
Yeah, so it's got a turbo boost, which just means it can fly for a limited amount of time.
Don't think too far into that. I don't think, Jimmy. I don't think that's it's good.
Okay.
What did you guys think of it then now, since we've kind of gone over it?
The car looks cool. It's all black. It's shiny. And on the inside, it looks like Darth Vader's bathroom. That's what Michael said. And I think that's a very apt description.
Pretty solid.
It's got a steering wheel like a
Like the Batmobile.
yeah, like a Batmobile. I was gonna say
it looks like a Batwing.
like a jet plane or something, or like
Yeah.
Yeah. Your commercial airliner. You didn't you didn't say what you think about it though, Joe.
Loved
Don't
it.
dodge the question.
The car is very fast. I mean, so they obviously thought very highly of this because they did a full 2-hour premiere, right?
Right.
And
And it was named.
It was named. It was a named pilot. Like this was a show that was gonna go. It's a very different time. That was 40 years ago, literally 40 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But-
Shit.
But
It's
yeah,
probably
I mean,
amazing.
with my millennial eyes, I can't imagine like watching a show where it's just like the car is the superhero. Like I feel like they
Right.
I don't know. I mean, there's gonna be cool car stunts.
I mean, you can't imagine that. John Cena was in a Transformers movie literally like a couple years ago, and it was probably the exact same thing. It's called
Same
Bumblebee,
exact
Joe.
plot.
And I didn't like those movies. But yeah, like there's gonna be some cool car stunts, like the car driving through a semi. But like, I just feel like what kills it for me is like Michael doesn't really do much in the show other than he keeps getting shot. And he keeps like arguing with Kit about him wanting to do stuff when he like is falling asleep or is passing out because he got shot.
Yeah.
I feel like it just needs a stronger human hero for me to like really get into.
Yeah. For this being on NBC, this seems like, 2-hour premiere. Seems like there was a lot of money thrown at this. Like they believed in it.
Mm-hmm.
It just seems like if this was like if Knight Rider was today, but it was an original idea, not like some shitty reboot. Like probably what that one season
That
Knight Rider
Michael
was.
Bay is probably working on right now.
Yeah, but like imagine if it was like a, I'm gonna say it was like a Breaking Bad caliber type show that they were like, we're gonna really throw money and care about this story. I just think there was just so much dumb shit that kind of happened in this that I don't think it necessarily holds up to like quality, like premium television today, which I kind of think that this was basically that, but on NBC in 82. So
Yeah,
what
absolutely.
is it bad? No, it's almost like funny and silly now. Whereas this is probably supposed to be pretty badass, James Bondy type, like in like kind of crazy stuff.
Yeah, and what I was gonna say is actually like if you watch, it reminded me a lot of James Bond from the 70s and 80s because that's when like it was Roger Moore and Timothy Dalton where there was lots of silliness injected into it, and that was like a part of the like charm of it for some reason. Those are definitely not my favorite Bond movies.
Right.
But like literally even like down to all of the car chase like stunts and stuff was like, this feels like a Roger Moore Bond, like in production value, which like for a TV show is pretty ridiculous. And it is like, it's you're watching it like this is absolutely ridiculous. Like, but it's like also kind of wonderful at the same time.
Yeah.
At least like it was like there was like a plot and they stuck to it and it was good. Like it's not like it didn't make sense.
Yeah, I didn't necessarily always understand the motivations for what anybody was really doing. I kind of understood the loose tyings that they were trying to do, but there was a lot of gaps, with the pages they were putting together.
Sure.
So
You got to figure it out for yourself.
that's what this is. Yeah. I think it probably held up really, really well then, and I think it's probably fine to watch today. If you are like, this is just going to be silly and kind of dumb now, and not like actually serious, even though it's probably supposed to be kind of serious, but fun at the same time, like a James Bond.
I mean, and along with that, I don't find David Hasselhoff as like especially charismatic or even just like convincing as an actor. I mean, not that it's a very complicated role or anything, but like he very much just like kind of read of a guy just like reading lines and like finding his spots.
Yeah, sometimes he was
He's
making
just
like looks like I'm really exaggerating this like emotion that I'm supposed to have right now, or this glare. He had a lot of glares, and I was like, just chill out, man.
His type of acting gave you the feel of like right after they cut that shot or that scene, he's like looking at the director, being like, "Did I do it? Is that right?
Was that the take?" Yeah, I mean, there's definitely like, yeah, they had like a daytime TV actor vibe, like over actor vibe. There's definitely probably a reason he didn't really jump to the silver screen very much. He's had great success on Baywatch, because that's what you expect from a show called Baywatch.
Yeah, great fit for Baywatch.
Just what does this person look like?
I mean,
put him on screen.
Baywatch nabbed David Hasselhoff from Knight Rider. You know, like it's probably a big get.
Yeah, he was the name.
And then Baywatch Nights grabbed David Hasselhoff from Baywatch and Knight Rider. We should do Baywatch Nights.
I hope so.
We should do any of that.
Should we? Should we do predictions?
Oh yeah.
So we can watch this finale at some point.
Yeah.
Okay, I have 4 predictions. You know, like normal. Number 1, I think there's a second smart car.
Ooh, I like that. Is it like an enemy?
You know what? I mean, I would assume it's an enemy, but I will not include that.
Someone's figured it out.
I will not include that into my prediction.
It's Kit's lover.
It's like Rit.
He's got a girlfriend.
Or it's probably Kit, but CITT, Comtron Institute 2000 or something like that.
Ooh.
Number 2, they go to space. Because it's got to just jump the shark, and I think they jump it straight into space.
Jump it into space.
This show started on the shark. It started jumping the shark.
Coasting over the shark in the premiere.
This show started holding the shark's dorsal fin. Number 3, I think in the end he gets his old face back.
Okay. Interesting.
I really don't think that's gonna happen, but dear God, I want it to happen.
Life back.
And then number 4, I think David Hasselhoff has to make a choice between Kit or a lady. There's some sort of he needs to make the choice for some reason. And those are my 4. Either one of you can go next.
Joe, you want to go?
Yeah, I can go. I was just trying to see if Baywatch Nights is on Hulu.
We have to watch Baywatch first.
Do we though?
Well, because it's a sequel to Baywatch.
Skip straight to Nights.
How are we going to know about David Hasselhoff's Baywatch character?
We're going to miss all of the...
We're going to miss all that growth.
Yeah, I guess so.
Into Baywatch Nights. When he goes from being a lifeguard to a detective.
To a night lifeguard.
Because I'm pretty sure that's what he is.
So I also have that there is a second talking car.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, I was kind of picturing that they were trying to push this car late in the show to maybe this would be a spin-off car. Maybe it's smaller and younger and more
new Pontiac model came out.
Yeah,
they gotta sell it.
Just kind of a rad skateboard type of car.
All right.
As opposed to Mr. Feeney.
I will say this: I will only accept my second car if it's in this particular episode, because I feel like there's no doubt in my mind that in these 4 seasons there's at least one other smart car, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Who voices the sleek little rad car? New car.
Michael Caine.
One of the Coreys.
Michael Caine.
I don't know the difference between the Coreys.
Feldman.
Yeah, whichever one is more rad.
All right.
So you're on Corey Feldman, and I said Michael Caine.
Yeah, exactly. 2 very different kind of smart cars. I did have that Michael gets shot.
Yeah, every episode.
A good callback.
Yeah. Could you imagine if you got shot in 90 episodes straight?
Yeah, just I just have a
90 bullet wounds.
I have a metal plate there also. I think that Kit jumps a canyon. I think that's kind of Kit's big stunt this episode. Jumping over a
shark
large
at the bottom
canyon.
of it.
Oh man, the finale's called Kit Jumps a Canyon.
And then my last one is that Kit rides off into the sunset.
But
So-
just Kit?
Yeah, just Kit.
Oh.
I don't really know what that
That's hilarious.
means for like what does a sentient car do? Like he's like quitting the force and like going off on his own, but like
He can't put gas in himself.
he can't.
How could he? He doesn't have arms?
Right, he doesn't.
You
Well,
mean-
that we know of.
There's probably still like self-serve,
He lives in Portland.
not
That's where they
self-serve, non-self-serve
sing.
stations.
He lives in
Yeah.
Portland. That's where they do the
Full service.
full service.
Yeah, he's just got to show up to a full service station and just
He can
get some
make it.
gas.
Does he even run on gas?
Yeah, maybe he has solar panels by now.
David Hasselhoff mentioned him like getting gas
Mm-hmm.
in this episode. That's
he
the
did.
only reason I'm talking
So-
about him.
That's my predict though, that Kit goes off to live his own life.
Live his own car life.
Yeah.
Okay. He still. Some say he's still driving around the United States today.
Okay. My first one is that I think the Bulk and Skull characters tried to steal a car again. I think they're still around. Comic reliefs.
All right. All right.
I think Kit is in like the threat of death in some fashion.
Carda.
Maybe
Like
some sort of
Kit's dying.
computer virus.
Kit's dying. Yeah. Threat of Kit death.
Kit's
number-
running out of gas and he doesn't have arms to fill himself up.
Shit. That wouldn't like kill you. That's just like that's not even like a coma. He's mentally there. He'd just be like
It's just a long nap, as cars call it.
Number 3, I also have that Knight gets shot. Cause he has to.
I joked about it the whole episode and I never.
I can't believe you did.
Yeah, I didn't. Even, I went space instead.
I was trying to figure out something with like Maggie, but then it was clear that will they won't they wasn't gonna happen.
Yeah.
That she was just gonna be dead or gone. And then my last one is that I think Devin is retiring.
Oh, from Charlie work?
Devin's retiring from Charlie work.
Oh, okay.
Charlie work is something else. I'm trying to think of. Have you guys seen the Pierce Brosnan James Bond? I'm in super James Bond mode now.
Like
Where
GoldenEye?
Q, yeah, we're in the 90s. Q is Monty Python guy.
Eric Idle?
No,
The other one?
one of the other ones. God,
One of the other ones.
Q. Oh God, what was? Okay, anyway, and he. No. It was actually when I'm actually thinking of it. It was the original Q retires on set, and the Monty Python guy takes over for him, and like his last scene is like a panel just like in the floor just like starts moving down, and Q's just like waves. It's like his final like techie thing surprise.
Yeah, I remember who the old Q is, but
The
I
old
can't.
Q is like Desmond.
Yeah, like
Llewellyn or something?
Yeah.
That's amazing that I pulled that out of my ass, but I can't think of the Monty Python guy.
Can't help you. Can't help you. So those are your 4?
John Cleese.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Okay.
Those are my 4.
Cool.
Do
All
it.
All right, let's watch the finale. It's called Voo Doo Knight. So there must
right.
there must be some dark magic abound.
Voo Doo Knight.
I'm not sure. This finale happened on April 4th, 1986. So we're gonna watch this car maybe ride into the sunset, and we'll be back after that. And we're back. We're done with the final episode of the show that we just watched.
It was called Knight Rider.
I know.
Voo Doo Knight.
Yeah, the episode was called Voo Doo Knight. Do you get that write-up
Sure do.
available for us, Jim?
Michael walks in on a robbery at Towers Gemstones, Inc. to find 3 men seemingly under the influence of a voodoo princess. While investigating,
It's already so
he
good.
Yeah, he didn't know that at the time.
He walked in and he said, "You were seemingly under the influence of voodoo."
He got his butt kicked by some dudes, and later was like, "Oh yeah, that's totally what it was. They were voodooed."
You can't beat me unless you're voodooed.
They really did beat him up. While investigating incidents involving wealthy art collectors, Michael meets Elizabeth Wesley, who explains that the object everyone is after is the fabled crown of Tequatl. That can't be how they said it.
I'm not reading what you're reading, but I'm sure that's not how you say it.
I'm not going to try again.
Quizzicoatl.
Sure. Why not? So apparently the show's canceled.
Oh, for sure.
Ratings were getting low. But so basically some people like committed suicide kind of under circumstances, and I don't even know how he got into everything. It was really weird because at first there was what looked like a previously on that was confusing because we hadn't watched 4 seasons of television.
Right.
But then it turned out that no, those were just teasers.
It teased
that were coming up.
Building being exploded. And then like later, I literally thought that happened previously on. And then like 40 minutes in the episode, that building exploded. And I was like, what?
Yeah. But so some art collectors run an expedition. They for following like another like researchers research about this crown, and then they killed him to get it, and then something to do with this voodoo princess, and she's putting earrings on people to hypnotize them into doing her will.
Yeah, she's putting earrings on them and then like rubbing this like brooch necklace that she had, and that somehow was like mind controlling people.
Yeah,
via voodoo.
Voodoo. And she got him. She got the Hasselhoffs.
She did vood the Hass.
And she got him to go somewhere, but to do that he gets in Kit, and then Kit's like, "Hey, you're being weird. What are you doing?" And then like notified the team, because now there's a whole team in a moving mobile like RV layer, and somehow they science fiction the voodoo off of him.
Well, I mean, the team itself is really just like Devin from episode 1.
It's Devin, the new guy.
RC3.
Ooh, RC3.
Like
I like that.
Reginald Corinthian III or something like that.
That's dope.
He kept calling him RC, so I don't actually know what his actual names are, but he is the third. And then there was another gal, but she seemed like she was just around for like the episode.
Yeah. Reginald.
She was the flavor of the week, as American Hi-Fi would say.
Elizabeth Wesley. Christy Mossman.
Mossman?
Mossman.
The Mossman prophecy?
Yeah,
The Elizabeth Mossman prophecy.
Apparently, Hasselhoff like found out that like this was clearly the end, and he was trying to push the writing of like a finale that was featuring his wife at the time, because apparently she'd been in some episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Her name was Catherine Hickland. They were divorced a couple years after this was canceled, and the next man that she married, guess what his name was?
David Hazelhoof?
Michael Knight.
Michael E. fucking Knight.
No way.
Michael Knight. I'm floored. I can't.
Michael E. Knight.
3 years. So they divorced in '89. She married a man named Michael Knight in '92. I mean, they're divorced. But.
She's got a type.
That's
I
hilarious.
guess, right?
And he was in some stuff. He was an actor too. He was in he was in some soaps. It's just like that's
Bold and the
outrageous.
Beautiful.
How could you possibly marry a person who's named your ex-husband's character's name?
I don't know. I've heard so many other people of people of like this guy was married to like this lady named Heather, and then his new wife is also named Heather.
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
weird.
like that kind of stuff. And it's like,
That's weird.
there's so many people with so many different names. How does this happen?
That's true, but at least like in the world, there's like millions of Heathers. How many Michael Knights?
At least one real one and one fictional one.
Knight.
Maybe the show was based on this real Michael
It was based
Knight.
on that Michael Knight.
Mhm.
He has
Sure.
a real friend named Devin
I'm sure it was.
and a special car he drives around that he likes to think can talk.
Talks to him.
My God. Okay, what were we doing?
I mean, we were like kind of talking about this last episode, but let's be honest. There was voodoo. He like stopped the voodoo lady from stealing this like bejeweled tiara.
Mhm.
That honestly, when I got to look at it, it was like, this doesn't even look like it's worth anything. It looked dumb.
Sure.
And that was it. And so yeah, the show must
was pretty
got
ridiculous.
full confirmation that the show was for surely canceled.
It was ridiculous, but you know what else featured voodoo? Roger Moore's first James Bond movie, Live and Let Die. That like took place in like Louisiana.
I like when
Hasselhoff spent most of the episode in a tuxedo. So
That's true.
if they're not trying to do Bond.
That's true. With a clip-on bow tie
yeah, I mean,
that was not clipped.
Kit in this episode was more so like a Bond gadget, like that was used when needed and not like basically a secondary character like you would think that this car would be used as. Like there was a lot of middle time where there was no Kit at all. And it's like, are they just at this party with this voodoo lady like controlling, like what's happening? Like, why are we not driving around in a car right now?
And the stuff in the car was like, wasn't necessarily crazy stunts so much as just like, hey, can you like look up on the map where this is and like,
Yeah.
can you see where the other car
What's
is
going
at?
on?
Are they
Yeah.
on their way?
The car was seeing genetic code in people, was seeing
yeah.
DNA.
And he could tell that she was scared
Yeah.
based on her elevated heart rate.
Her heart rate. Michael.
Michael, she's frightened.
Oh no.
Michael, I do not have a heart, but it seems there's something wrong with hers. I'm worried for where this show went. Is what I'm
Yeah.
saying. I'm worried that it fell down hard.
But are you ready for the movie?
Knight Rider 2000?
Is that what it was?
Yeah, because the remake or the whatever
Yeah.
was just called Knight Rider in 2008.
Huh.
I think it's referred to generally as Knight Rider 2008.
Cool.
Ah.
It's generally referred to as, actually no one refers to it.
It's referred to as don't watch it.
Knight Rider 2000. Apparently there was a bunch of there was also a Knight Rider 2010 TV movie.
Made for TV Knight Rider movie.
People just keep going
Yeah.
back to the Knight Rider well.
Yeah.
This is just such a rich text. It's a car.
Excellent source
It's
material.
a smart car.
It was a novel idea in 1982, Joe.
It's indestructible. There's that too. So you can it drives through things. And a lot of the intro sequence where it's like showing action sequences from previous episodes.
Yeah.
A lot of just driving through stuff, which
Like, what else is it
is
going to do?
cool. I will admit, like watching it drive through the semi in the first episode, pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like I just imagine that if Kit encounters any sort of problems, you're just gonna drive through it, which is how I try to live my life.
Driving straight through the problems.
just charge straight through
You
the
literally
problems.
tackle the problems head on. Is what you're saying. Yeah. I don't know about this show. I was on the fence about it in episode 1.
Mm-hmm.
Episode 1 and 2, technically. But I liked that it was like this. I mean, because it was either James Bondy, like buddy cop in a way, you know, and it still kind of had obviously that silly James. Like, I mean, you referenced Jimmy like a ton of things in this last episode that were just like, this is just still Roger Moore James Bond.
Mm-hmm.
But it was worse somehow, you know.
It was because it was too much Hasselhoff.
Too much Hoff, yeah. I complained in the first episode that like he was kind of weak and didn't really do much, and then now he was doing a lot of stuff, but like didn't want to see him, I guess.
Same old Hasselhoff, and not enough. I could have used more team Knight Rider team.
Yeah,
even when like inexplicably Elizabeth Wesley just became a part of the team at one point, just was in on everything.
I just don't understand why they didn't add like
And she
5
Devin
more
on the
minutes.
lips.
5 more minutes of this car driving around. That's really all, you know.
At least. Yeah, there was no like chase or anything. They followed the voodoo guys who Elizabeth was following. So and then he got out of the car, and then he was voodooed, and then he got back into the car.
Yeah, it feels like you got to have a chase every episode.
You got to do something.
Yeah. It's got to drive through something every episode. You got to chase somebody every episode.
Yeah, Joe, we talked about this, and I think it was off air, maybe, but we talked about, or maybe it was during the podcast, I can't remember, the Hulk Hogan TV show, like Thunder in Paradise, where it was he is a smart, it's like basically Knight Rider with a boat. I don't know if the boat talks, but it's like it's just a vessel of war.
Smart boat.
Yeah, that like he just drives around and fights crime in. It's like a 90s show, I think. Early 90s, maybe late 80s, can't remember. But like, you know, obviously every single episode he gets in the boat and drives around and like kills something with the boat. And like, why is this Knight Rider episode not like just have a car chase every single episode? You committed to a car show.
Yeah.
Commit to like a car doing something every show, not just parking in front of a building and going, there's one guy in there and there's bombs in the building, like this one did. Because that's pretty much what the car did.
Yeah, they did escape the building that was being blown up. I guess that was the one exciting car thing. But okay, I'm just trying to picture like a boat being exciting. Like, how many episodes did this air? Like, is it just the same?
I imagine the boat is painted like red and yellow though, so that might be
it's like
cool.
a black boat.
No.
I mean,
It's
I don't know.
Not even a Hulkmania boat.
No, well, it's not a Hulkamania show. It just Hulk is in the show.
That sounds awful. I'm just picturing him like slowly moving at a barge.
1994 TV show, Thunder in
Is it like a
Paradise.
speedboat?
It was only 22 episodes long, so
That's even longer than I would think would be fun.
I mean, I know we're talking about this, but I'm going to read you the quick description. 2 former Navy SEALs work as mercenaries with a high-tech boat.
Okay. High-tech boat. That's...
Oh, I'm going to tell you what their characters' names are, though. R.J. Hurricane Spencer is Hulk Hogan. And then his sidekick, Brew. B-U-B-R-U. Brew. They are on a top secret mission to capture the notorious foreign drug lord Santiago. And the boat's called Thunder. So that's why the show's called Thunder in Paradise. Because I think they're in like Miami or something like that.
Of course.
I'm telling you, 94. Yeah, I saw this. I was about to say 94 means I was 9 because I was about to say a 10-year-old me thought this show was dope.
Of course. It's Hulk Hogan on a high-tech boat.
Yeah.
All right. Sold. Stay tuned next week.
But that's all I'm saying. It's the show needed more of that. And if this episode is showing what the show did in later seasons of focusing more on the hassle and less on the kit, then this is probably why it got canceled. Because I just want car races and crashes.
I mean, I guess for the same reason I was thinking about how many episodes can you make about a boat? Like, how many, you got to come up with a new gadget for the car every single episode or something. Like, you've written yourself into a corner with this whole plot here.
You just need a new thing for it to break into, break off, break through, chase, Every 10 episodes, there's Comtron made a new smart car boss fight, I don't know.
Yeah. All that said, I probably would watch a couple more of these, at least from the beginning, because I bet the effects from the beginning are good until they, run out of money.
The beginning episodes had he drove through a semi. There were some explosions.
There was all kinds of stuff in the first two.
Yeah, there was a lot of cool stuff. So I think what the problem probably is they were doing this stuff and they went, oh shit, this is really expensive.
Yeah.
It's one of those that they were like, we need to get to the human side of this because exploding cars and stuff is really expensive. But this is what you decided to do.
They blew up a plane at the end.
Yeah. They sort of did. You saw a car driving at a plane, fire. And then all of a sudden there was a plane that was kind of on fire. So at least they hurt a wing of a plane. Yeah. That wing was probably attached to a truck, and they got the wing from a junkyard. But they still did it, and they still paid for it.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
So Joe, do you love this show?
Yeah, it's great, fantastic, 5 stars. No, I mean,
wow, you're really making our podcast be truthful, Joe.
I'm just trying to make it controversial. It doesn't. It's not as fun if we all just hate it. But here's the thing. Yeah, again, I wasn't really gripped in the beginning, and maybe it's dated, or maybe it's just that I don't like the Hoff. And then by the finale, it's gotten a little wacky, less car, which was the best part of the first episode.
100%. Less car music, too.
Less car music, for sure.
Which I thought an important part of the show was its great soundtrack, to be honest.
A great theme song, yeah. So it doesn't make me interested for the in-between. I would maybe watch a supercut of just the best stunts from the show.
Nice. What if there's a Christmas episode?
Knight Rider Christmas? Yeah. Oh my gosh. Does Knight Rider.
It'd be ridiculous.
Is Knight Rider someone's secret Santa or something, and he has to get someone a gift?
Motor oil.
Oh man.
Yeah, I'm kind of in your boat too. I didn't get excited for the in-betweens, but I am.
You're in my thunderboat?
Yeah, I'm in your thunder boat. But I am potentially curious about if someone was like, this is a badass episode of Knight Rider, with a lot of explosions or something.
Google the top 10
or whichever one has the smart car in it, because I'm sure that is a thing, right? There's got to be an extra evil smart car.
Gotta be.
They did have some more vehicles at the end. The RC3 had a dirt bike thing he was doing, and they had the mobile unit.
Yeah, I was almost gonna guess that there was a smart motorcycle, but I just went smart car or other smart car in general.
Well,
all right. Well, let's find out how we did in our. Oh, yep. There was something called Car, Karr. Car versus Kit.
No way.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, real quick question. Hopefully, so this dude just woke up with a different face, and they gave him a new identity.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm going to fight just whatever crime that you tell me to fight.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you woke up with just a blank slate, new identity, rockin' bod, like,
Yeah.
is that what you would do?
Yeah. Michael
with your
Long's
life?
Michael Long's parents and like siblings are just mourning his death.
Yeah.
And he's like alive, it turns out.
He's just alive and driving some Firebird all over.
I guess it's 50-50, man. I mean, maybe I'd think about, depending on how good my life before was, maybe I would go back to it a little bit. But also, I have a smart talking car now,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like basically a superhero.
You've got he had no fingerprints?
Yeah, dude.
They like they altered his fingerprints?
I mean, will this car do what I want? Can we rob banks together?
who's to say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't think it has morals. I think it just has. It doesn't.
It
Tries not to kill you.
I think it tries to
protect
yeah.
specifically you. So,
Mhm.
Yeah.
all right.
So I think I'm gonna rob banks now.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just goes immediately to a life of crime.
Predictions. Number 1, a second smart car. Well, I mean, I talked about only this episode because I thought that's how a cool finale would happen, but apparently no finale really happened at all. Jimmy's throwing cell phones around. So no second smart car. I thought there would be space. They didn't go to space. I thought he gets his old face back. He kept the Hasselhoff face, so that's not happening.
Hassle face.
And also, I think he has to make a choice between Kit or a girl,
Mm-hmm.
but that didn't happen either. So 0 points for me.
He can have it all.
I had also that there's a second talking car, but there wasn't. Michael gets shot, which he got beat up a lot, but he never got shot. Kit jumps a canyon. Kit didn't really do much of stunts. And then I had Kit rides off into the sunset, which also didn't happen either.
The only sunset Jace shots we had were the like scene transitions where Kit
Mhm.
was driving away from the sunset.
Yeah.
Like going to commercial.
Just driving away.
And the
from it.
biggest stunt we saw was it driving up the up and down the moving mobile ramp of the
of the semi truck. Yeah.
of the mobile
Yeah.
layer, which is kind of fun. I had that the like kooky comedic pair were gonna try to steal the car again, and they were nowhere, probably in jail in Silicon Valley. I thought there would be some sort of threat of Kit's death, and nope, he was totally fine. Or it was totally fine. Knight did not get shot, and Devin did not retire.
I almost thought Devin would be dead by now, but he was not. He was fully alive and part of the team still.
He was right in it, driving around his RV.
All right. Just like Knight Rider, we all got a 0.
We're all just the same after watching this. No, not any better.
Take that as you will, listeners. And if you have any comments about how we think about Knight Rider, or you want to make a show suggestion, you sure can at FNL Podcast on the Gmail or on the Twitter. I guess that's going to do it for this episode. This is a long one, apparently.
Oops.
It was a lot of show that we watched. We had a lot to talk about. But we'll be back next week for another First and Last. Goodbye.
Yeah, tell us how we're too young to when we don't get it.